What is up, Pats Nation? It is Patriots Global here with another video, and today is a pretty special video as we have not really talked about the draft yet. We've mainly discussed free agency, which still is pretty much my main focus as free agency is going to happen before the draft. But the draft is definitely getting closer, so that means that more draft videos are also getting closer. The draft combine starts very soon, and then followed by the combine will be the actual draft in April. So in this video, I thought it would be a pretty good idea to talk about a couple of different tight ends that the Patriots could look to potentially replace Rob Gronkowski. Now, by no means am I saying Rob Gronkowski is leaving, and by no means am I saying that he is staying. If I did have to guess, though, I would say Rob Gronkowski is staying. It just looks like he's going to stay. But we all know that Rob Gronkowski is not the Rob Gronkowski that he used to be. And the Patriots really are just forced to start thinking about life without Gronk. I mean, last offseason, he was a hair away from retiring. Then he brought up the same thing this offseason. I mean, I'm just saying if he's going to bring this up every year, obviously it's something that is in his head a good amount. So the Patriots have to look at his replacement. And this is a good draft class for tight ends. I think the Patriots really should look to draft a tight end in this draft. Right now, the Patriots have two very good blocking tight ends in both Rob Gronkowski, arguably the best blocking tight end in the league, and Dwayne Allen, arguably one of the best top 10 blocking tight ends in the league. With that being said, though, Brady does not really have a true threat when it comes to tight end. Now, maybe Rob Gronkowski comes back to his old self this season, and Guy can only hope so, but it's not something that we can rely on. So while the Patriots definitely need to find a tight end who can also block, they definitely need to find a tight end who is good in the passing game. So the first guy I have up is tight end TJ Hawkinson. Now, I first off want to say that these are in no specific order from, the guys who have the best chance or the guys that I personally want. So, like I said, just no specific order. Now, TJ Hawkinson, if you follow guys like Dear Pats Nation, Ray Route over there, then this is the guy you have heard about. And, I mean, rightfully so. Hawkinson is 6'5", 250 pounds, and his career stats are 73 receptions, 1,080 yards, with an average of 14.8 and 9 touchdowns. He has really good athletic ability, which is something that the Patriots kind of lack as a whole. His competitive toughness is also something that is really good about this young guy, and that's something that fits in perfectly with Tom Brady and the Patriots. Another thing that he excels at is route running. Now, he isn't perfect at this by any means. I would not give him an A+ in this, maybe more of an A- type of situation. But with that being said, pretty dang good. Has some pretty nice hands, nothing too crazy to be bragging about. His play speed is also pretty good for a tight end. Something to watch, though, is his mental processing. It isn't that it's bad, but it is a little bit lower than I think it could be, especially in the NFL, especially with guys like Tom Brady. Your mental processing has got to be up there, but I'm sure that is something that can easily be fixed with time and training if he does end up getting drafted to the Patriots. Now, the worst side about him is his blocking, and his blocking isn't anything, super trashy. Like, he's not a guy that, if he ends up blocking, that I would be like, oh God, we're screwed. Tom Brady's done. This run package is not going to go well. It's just the weaker side of his skills. Now, his run blocking is definitely a lot better than his pass blocking. He is not a great pass blocker by any means, nor am I saying he's an elite blocker in general, but his run blocking is not that bad, honestly. That is another area, though, that the Patriots could definitely get him up to par with, something that he can learn with over time. I mean, he's a big guy, so he obviously has the framework and strength to be able to block, so it's all about actually doing the techniques. Now, like I said, he has the body to be able to block, but he is still having a slimmer frame and could without a doubt add more mass. Keep in mind, he is now going into the NFL with a lot of big guys. He has quality arm length, but does not have a great build. But he also does have longer legs than an average tight end. In Iowa, he moved around in a lot of different formations. I'm talking inline tight end, H-back, and in the slot. Great athletic ability, like I already mentioned. That is something that I cannot stress enough about this guy. He is also supposed to be very good when it comes to being a vertical tight end. And he shows very, very, very nice explosiveness off of the line of scrimmage. Something else that just makes this guy a good Patriot and a good fit for Tom Brady is how hard he fights. I mean, look at him playing in college. This guy fights for extra yards. Those guys just always seem to do well with Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. Something that you could also look at this, I mean, good or bad, but he plays through pain a lot of times. So this kind of relates back to a time, say, this happens with a lot of players. Patrick Chung did this. Rob Gronkowski did this, but Martellus Bennett, he dealt with a lot of injuries when he was with the Patriots, and he played through really all of them. And TJ brings that same toughness. So to me, unless this is a serious injury, this is a guy that could play most games. He has above average deep speed for a tight end, and that creates great mismatches for linebackers. And his leg strength really just gets him those extra yards to be able to block shed a lot of these defenders. I think what Tom Brady would like most about this guy is his catch radius. He has just an amazing catch radius. So Tom Brady could throw the worst pass and somehow TJ Hawkinson would be able to pull this in, making Tom Brady look like a magician. Brady always throws the ball in a bunch of different places, whether it's behind your shoulders, whether it's literally a centimeter above the ground, whether it's 10 feet above your freaking head. Like, Brady throws some pretty insane throws sometimes just to make sure that defenders cannot pick off the ball or defend it, and TJ Hawkinson is a guy that can really catch these types of passes. Because he is a tight end that has receiving threat at the next level, he is a guy that is expected to be picked up in the first round, even though professionals are saying that his talent is more worth a second round. His NFL comparison is Tyler Eifert with the Cincinnati Bengals. Alright, moving on, we have Jase Sternberger. He is 6'4", 250 pounds, and his 2018 stats consisted of 49 receptions, 837 yards, averaging 17.3 as an average, and 10 touchdowns. This is another guy with pretty good athletic ability, definitely not as good as TJ Hawkinson, but still fairly nice. The best part about this guy is definitely his hands. He also pairs that really well with nice play speed. His route running is okay. I would definitely say it could use some work. Now, this is another guy that comes down to blocking issues. More specifically, though, pass blocking. This guy is not a good pass blocker at all. I would give him a C in this category. He definitely does better with run blocking. Now, I would not say that he's elite in run blocking, but he's definitely an average run blocker. Now, he has pretty quality size for NFL standards, along with above average arm length. He has a pretty solid upper body build, but he definitely does have a slimmer frame. His legs definitely have more length and mass than, say, his upper frame. He was another guy that was used as an inline blocker, H-back, and used as in the slot. It is said that stats definitely don't really showcase how talented he is. They said that if the quarterback would actually look his way more often, then his stats would without a doubt have skyrocketed. He moves really well in space and shows off his balance very well. His body control that would have a lot of people actually believe that he is a wide receiver instead of a tight end. And just great speed and acceleration. Because of the speed, he actually does break some tackles from defensive backs and linebackers because they have such a tough time actually getting him on the ground because of his leg strength and his speed. But like I said, this is the tight end that is primarily should be used for running routes, not as a blocker. And if you're going to look to replace Rob Gronkowski, you're looking to also find an elite run blocker. And this guy definitely would not excel in that section. But he is definitely a very reliable receiving threat and can make small plays into very big plays. It's said that he will most likely join a team that has a balanced offense, and his player comparison is Hunter Henry. Professionals have him going in the second round because of his talent, and they expect him to leave in about the second or third round. Alright, next up, I have Noah Fant. Now, this has got to be probably my favorite tight end prospect. I just love his build. I love his play style. I just love everything about Noah Fant, and I would love for him to be a New England Patriot. For me, it probably goes Noah Fant, then just under him by just a little bit is TJ Hawkinson. Fant also just grades a little bit better. Now, he is 6'5", 241 pounds, and his career stats are 78 receptions, 1,082 yards, averaging 13.9 and 19 touchdowns. Another guy with great athletic ability, has some pretty dang good hands also to go with that. Also is very good when it comes to mental processing. I would actually have his mental processing above TJ Hawkinson. This is another guy with amazing play speed and competitive toughness, fighting for those extra yards and really shedding off tackles. Something that to me needs to be more worked on with him is his play strength. He isn't bad by any means, but that's definitely an area for him that needs to be improved. Now, just with pretty much all the tight ends that I'm going to be talking about, his blocking is probably the worst part. More specifically, though, it's actually his run blocking. Unlike all the other tight ends that I've talked about, their pass blocking has actually been the worst, and the run blocking has been better. But with Fant, he actually is decent at pass blocking, but his run blocking is what really is a little iffy and needs some work. Now, that might concern a lot of people as the Patriots seem to be kind of going more heavy in the running game, especially if they do what they did towards the end of the season. This is going to be a run-based New England offense. Now, to me, that's not something totally to worry about because, like I said, you have Dwayne Allen. Rob Gronkowski sounds like he's going to come back. So this isn't really a guy who would need to be plugged in right away and be a starter day one. He could learn under guys like Dwayne Allen and Rob Gronkowski, get his techniques better, and just ultimately train and get better at, already the pass ability that he has in the receiving game and being a receiving threat, but then also working on becoming a blocking threat also. He has a sculpted muscle frame and has average mass throughout his body. He has somewhat highly waisted hips and has an above average wingspan. He went back-to-back seasons with 7+ touchdowns and 30+ receptions. He is explosive. He is quick. He has excellent body control, fluidity in hips, and his change of direction is very impressive for a tight end. What I really like about him and something that I think really connects with Tom Brady is he understands a defense. He understands what they are playing, what they are going to be running. He understands if it is zone or man coverage, which is very good. Another thing that I love about him and, his mental processing and just how smart he is about this game is that he identifies the blitzes early and adjusts his route or adjusts to counter the blitz. This guy is said to be a beast when it comes to the big time games. That's when he really, really comes out. Kind of guys that relate back to this, I would say, are maybe guys like Danny Amendola or Dante Hightower. Once the playoffs hit, once the Super Bowl comes around, they become a new type of beast, and that's exactly what they're saying about Noah Fant. He has very soft and reliable hands, and just his top end speed is much faster than the average tight end. He does a really excellent job at just tracking the ball when it comes to deep throws down the field, and he uses his body to adjust himself when a poor ball is thrown to be able to actually make the catch. He is said to have shown his best in mid to deep routes, and also plays very well despite bad weather, say like snow or rain or anything like that, and is just a guy who is able to make separation. Now, something he could work on again is his play strength. He does have that, average type of level, but definitely something that could be better. He easily dominates defensive backs, but he has shown to have issues with linebackers on multiple occasions. Sometimes he just gets sidetracked. He just ultimately needs to work on his fundamentals. As for him being a receiving threat, I would say the only thing he needs to work on in that area is his catch in traffic. It's not bad, but it could be better for a tight end going into the NFL. In the end, he is an athletic freak who will best be used in a pass-heavy offense. He's a guy that is being really related more back to someone like Jared Cook, and he has the talent to be a first-round pick, and he's actually expected to be picked up in the first round also. A lot of people don't have TJ Hawkinson being a guy that the Patriots would be able to select by pick 32, and that's very reasonable. And I would say the same thing about Noah Fant. I mean, there's a lot of teams that will easily be able to grab him. So if either TJ Hawkinson or Noah Fant is there at 32, I would honestly hope that the Patriots would get one of them. Now, the last tight end I will be talking about is Irv Smith Jr., the tight end from Alabama, who sits in at 6'3", 243 pounds. To me, I'm actually surprised that this isn't a guy that more people are talking about. This is a top draft prospect. Now, I'm not talking about like top 10, top 15, anything like that, but he's a guy that could easily be picked in the first round. This is a guy with excellent route running and pays very good attention to detail. He varies his pace very often in order to separate himself and create some distance from the defender, but he has a little too much throttle down before his break. This is a guy with excellent vertical push and the ability to step on defenders' toes before actually breaking off his pattern. Now, out of all draft prospects, I would say this is the guy who maybe does not have the best of hands compared to the other guys we've talked about. Really doesn't have a massive radius or a ton of outside the frame catches on tape to suggest his ball skill dominance. He really isn't a consistent high point or full extension catcher, but he still flashes very strong hands to be able to grab the ball before it gets to his frame. So as for his speed, he is definitely not a burner, definitely not as fast as guys like TJ Hawkinson or Noah Fant. So like I said, not a burner, but he does have the ability and the speed to actually be able to stretch the field. He has worked a lot in the vertical passing game, which should be able to translate right away in a role into more of a slot tight end in an NFL offense. He isn't someone who is explosive off the line of scrimmage, but he can build his speed up. With that being said, though, he does occasionally get beat to the ball. As for his yards after catch, he is very slippery and elusive post-catch. He doesn't have the burst to destroy pursuit angles, but he really does run hard and aggressive and has enough long-term speed to be able to pull breakaways down the field. This guy has really good mental toughness. He just has that determination to be able to go after the ball, even if he knows some odds are against him. When looking at his size, he's alright, but not a great size for a tight end by any means. But he does have the play strength and ability to be outstanding. I don't really think Smith is an elite athlete that maybe he or others believe he necessarily is. But he is by far more athletic compared to a lot and even most tight ends being able to stretch the field with his strength. Unlike the three other tight ends we talked about, this guy's pretty much flipped. He actually is elite when it comes to blocking, and his catch is what needs, work. More specifically, though, he is elite when it comes to run blocking. He has a ton of experience in this. He has a diverse rushing attack and understands pro-level blocking schemes. He frames his target beautifully and rarely falls off contact. He just really rarely ever lets the defender get away from his blocks. Another good thing is that he understands the running back, he understands the runner's angles, and will do anything to seal off rushing lanes completely. Something that is worrisome though is like that I said, he is a little small for a tight end. He is now going into the NFL with huge guys. I mean, we're talking about veterans, so it will be interesting to see how that will translate for him. As for his pass protection, he was not asked to do that so often compared to what he was asked to do, say, for run blocking. But when he was asked to do it, he did do it very well. His frame rusher was very well, and he just is very patient with his strikes. He isn't a guy that will just completely go up and just block a random guy in order to, air quote, do something. He waits for the guy and he waits to be able to strike in order to protect the quarterback in the passing game. Worry though is that he might have some mismatch situations against more powerful defensive players, but he does anchor quickly and he does have the strength and placement to keep him at bay. But that is it for today's video, guys. This was definitely a long video, but a very in-depth video. That's pretty much how it's going to be with draft prospects. I mean, these aren't guys that most of us know about, so there's a lot to talk about. So what do you guys think about the Patriots drafting a tight end? Let me know in the comments below. Also, let me know who your favorite tight end draft prospect is out of the guys I've talked about, and let me know if there's a tight end that I didn't talk about that you would like to see the Patriots draft. That is it for today's video though. Please make sure you guys like and subscribe, as it helps me and the channel out very, very, very much. Make sure you guys share this video with everybody who knows from the Patriots, a couple family, and other than that, I will catch you guys in another video.